afternoon. I'm Nora Polovic, and it's just so great to be at the center. And even though it's taken us 2 years to honor this very special woman, it's very great to be here at the center doing this. I think it's so appropriate. I'm going to give you an overview of Sally's 4-H life. Sally Burkwell is a passionate and avid supporter of the 4-H program. From being a member to becoming a leader, she has always believed in the program and values the skills that members learn, especially communications and leadership. This selfless individual always puts others ahead of herself. If there is a job to be done, she'll be the first to volunteer and get others involved with her infectious enthusiasm. And Rhonda and I can attest to that. She always does that. Sally joined the Boundary 4-H Club in 1965 at the age of 10 with the Steer Project and later joined the Sewing Project. She excelled in judging and communications, winning several trips to the Pacific National Exhibition in Vancouver for the BC Provincial Judging and Demonstration Competitions. Sally was a 4-H member until she graduated from high school and then used her 4-H funds to help finance her university education. Realizing the positive impact that 4-H had on her life, Sally wanted her children to also be a part of this amazing program. Together with husband Grant, they breathed new life into the defunct North Peace Light Horse Club that was renamed the Peace River 4-H Multi-Club. With Sally as general leader, both their children joined the club with equine projects. And the club, which started with 15 members and 1 project, soon flourished into multiple projects and a substantial increase in members under Sally's guidance. Sally held many positions in this club over the last 23 plus years: general leader, assistant leader, project leader, and is still involved to today, encouraging members to take advantage of all that 4-H has to offer. And never one to sit by, Sally soon went beyond the club level and then got involved at district, regional, and provincial levels. Sally has been a strong advocate for 4-H summer camps in our region in the Peace. And when there was a threat these camps would not be offered in our region, Sally was the driving force, keeping these camps available for our members. She organized very successful bench shows during the Peace 4-H regional days for 4 consecutive years, encouraging members to display their achievements. Sally has always encouraged members to go beyond the club level and take advantage of all of the opportunities that 4-H has to offer. Sally was on the organizing committee twice when the Peace region hosted this provincial 4-H leaders conference. She was chair of the sessions committee when Alberta hosted the Western Regional 4-H Leader Forum in 2017. This was an organizational feat, which included coordinating the delivery of 30 sewing machines and other materials to the Shaw Center in downtown Edmonton. As a member of the 4-H Provincial Council, Sally went through the turbulent times of the reorganization of Alberta 4-H, and here we go again, and adoption of the equine helmet policy. And she delivered unpopular messages to our region with style and integrity, and she was able to encourage us to see both sides. As key leader, she organized leadership conversations and always teaches sessions at the Regional Fall Learning Day for members, leaders, and parents. Sally has organized countless events for the benefit of members. She helped spearhead a regional judging rally and organized a highly successful consumer decision-making event as part of this rally. Sally has capably organized many communication events encouraging members to hone their public speaking skills. And she continues to volunteer her time throughout the region for communications and judging events.
When you listen to her 4-H achievements and work, you think, wow, she's a very busy woman, which she is. But like all of us who've been in the 4-H program and those who come up through the ranks still, you want to find a person who'll do something for you, find the busy person. Find the 4-H person in your community, and then you'll find them doing so much more for their community. And so Sally is just like all of those people before us who decided that 4-H was one really good priority, but I'm also going to do some other things. So Sally is an active volunteer for her church, organizing spring and fall suppers and doing yard maintenance, painting walls and all those wonderful things. She's been a member of the community choir for a number of years, organizing their annual celebrations and performances. Sally has also volunteered at the community soup kitchens regularly. Prior to becoming a leader in the 4-H club, Sally was a leader in the Junior Forest Wardens. Sally graduated from the University of Alberta as a dietitian. She worked as a registered dietitian for over 35 years, and over 20 of those in the Peace River Hospital. In recognition of her by her peers, she received the 2012 Northern Star Award, which recognizes Alberta Health Services employees in Northern Alberta who go above and beyond in their commitment to healthcare services and have an exceptional positive impact on their workplace. During her years as a registered dietitian with AHS, Sally participated and promoted many initiatives. She actively promoted the initiative to source local food, citing the benefits of better quality and better for the environment. Sally was involved in the development of Nutrition and Food Services Audit Manual. Sally also brought that love of local produce and local food to the 4-H program, where a number of times she did 4-H volunteer and registration dietitian. She taught sessions on nutrition at the Provincial Leaders Conference. I think at Western Regional Leaders Forum, she had people cooking up things for it. And that caused a little bit of a kerfuffle in trying to find enough frying pans and assorted items to do that. Sally is one of those people who you just can't say no to, because she comes up with that sweet smile and that wonderful hand on your shoulder that says, I was wondering, if we did this, could you help me? Or could you do this for me? One of those skills that 4-H leaders know so well, and one that Sally has used on us more than once or twice. We always appreciate Sally's enthusiasm and passion for it. Sally continues to keep busy with 4-H and spending quality time with her 2 children and her special grandsons. We're just so pleased that Sally is going to be inducted today.
And we can go on and on, but we won't. Sally Burkwell is a passionate, dedicated 4-H volunteer. She has worked tirelessly to ensure the needs of the peace are met and that the peace is not forgotten. She strongly believes the 4-H program has to change with evolving times, and with that belief, she has moved the 4-H program forward in the peace and also provincially. It is with great pride that tonight we finally celebrate Sally Burkwell's induction to the 4-H Hall of Fame.
That's when it stays in the Hall of Fame, the bottom is first. Look at Jessica. Take a picture.
We're gonna take a picture. Just gonna stand here.
Wow. I get to say a few words after all that. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Hall of Fame recipients both today and previous ones. It's amazing to be able to be part of this group of friends and family. What an honor to be chosen for this 4-H Hall of Fame. And I think it's the older, when we were downstairs and saw all the pictures on the wall and realized how many people have been inducted. I was showing my grandchildren, and it's wonderful that we have some young folks that are going to be able to appreciate and move the program on with us. They do say it takes a village to raise a child, and I guess I'm one of the villagers, and I appreciate everything that these ladies have said about me. because it's true. As a child, as a teenager, 4-H was very important for me. So I'm not going to go on a lot because these ladies did such an amazing job. Because the other thing I believe with 4-H is the friendship that as an adult we get to appreciate. These amazing relationships that we have. So it's not only the children that we're mentoring, it's each other as adults. So again, 4-H has been very important for my life for that. Now, thank you to Sherry for setting this up. It's an amazing day. Thank you to Rhonda and Nora for their kind and amazing words. You have a true commitment to this program and also to all that it takes to nominate somebody. So that is much recognized, and thank you. Thank you to also to all the other people that have helped with this. I'm thinking of Paul and of course Catherine, who was very instrumental in all of this as well. Thank you to Grant, my wonderful spouse, without whom, you know, there has to be that partner behind you in order for you to do all those amazing things they talked about. So thank you. And I wanted to introduce my family. My son William is here and his wife Amanda and their 3 children, George, Dan. My daughter Catherine is here with her fiance Matt. And of course, most of you know Grant. And so once again, it's an amazing honor for me to be here and to meet some of the people that also will be honored tonight. And I do appreciate all the wonderful words everybody has said, and thank you very much.
Well, please welcome Sally into the 4-H Alberta Hall of Fame. On to our next inductee. Could I please have Dwayne Grover come forward to introduce Leora Lee Carouthers.
Good evening. So I have the pleasure this evening to introduce Lee Crothers. The girls did a wonderful speech on Sally. I'm going to tell you a story. So once upon a time, there was a lady that lived on a ranch, and her youngest child became old enough that she had to have something for her to do. And they were very involved in the horses, so they thought they would try out the horse project in the local club. They said, you know, go try it out. What could be the harm? They started and then had to go on a little sabbatical out to BC. But when they returned, the club had grown immensely and was about 60 kids and 7 projects. And we needed a lot of help, And we come back and walked right in and took on any project that was directed towards her, particularly anything to do with keeping track of everything at the achievement days or the regional shows, that type of thing. She was really excelled at that. The one thing, you know how 4-H has meetings and meetings and meetings, well, and everybody's like, shoddy out of the meetings. Well, if we needed somebody to go to the district meeting, we needed somebody to go to the regional meeting, we needed somebody to go to the horse council, we needed somebody to go to the provincial council. I thought about it after, and we've been doing this for like 25 years. And I was like, I'm not sure if the word meeting triggers her arm and it's just I certainly hope that she enjoyed all the meetings because she went to a pile on our behalf. Actually, she really enjoyed them, and a thirst for knowledge. She, when the club was so big and we needed to keep challenging the kids and we needed to come up with new things, that meant we had to go on, right? We had to go to district meetings, we had to go to regional meetings, we had to go to the horse council, we had to go to conferences. So what could be the harm in coming to Edmonton to a conference, a camp? Like, just come, you'll learn a couple things, it'll be fine. The first day, I meet her at the end of the day. So how was that? Well, I went to the public speaking workshop and I had to stand on a chair and talk to a cucumber. But when a few hours later, her and her comrades, not me, but her other comrades, were dancing on those chairs at that hall. We were coming out of our shell and moving onward. But it was at these events that Lee met up with a bunch of people that would become her second family for years. So she was involved in a lot of the things that throughout the years as a key leader for the district. She was on several, she was the secretary and the treasurer and all of those things that go on and on that you put into your diary, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Some of the things that she did use all those skills for were regional fun day. We have a regional fun day in our region where we have 100 to 200 kids come. They work a bunch of different sessions. There'll be like 6 sessions going on at a time. She stepped up to the plate to become the chairman of that, to organize all those rooms and all the supplies, and work with Janet for hours and hours and hours getting ready for that, and come out at the end of the day smiling somehow. When she moved on to provincial horse and the PIAC committee, that's where she really took off, and maybe took off is the wrong word, but left the country a few times. She was on several trips that we went on in Canada and down into Montana. And I can tell you when Team Alberta was there, they knew we were there. So through that, she worked on what was called the, we redid all the levels in the 4-H program. And it took a lot of time and a lot of people and a lot of knowledge. And she worked diligently along with the rest of the crew throughout that to develop what any 4-H horse kid would know of as the fat book. It's really just probably the best horse knowledge book that there is in Canada or North America for any 4-H member. And it was done by a whole group of volunteers. But if we go to some event, and then in the evening, they'd say, well, we just want to go over a chapter of the book. It'll be fine, it'll be fun, you'll entertain. 6 women, 6 hours, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're still arguing over how a horse picks its leg up, if you can call that a color, is that really a bit that's legal? But thank God that they did it, because I snoozed out about half hour into the program. So next, she took on one of our biggest projects, I guess, would be the Horse Classic. So Horse Classic at the time was our provincial horse program. It ran for 3 days at the Rolls College. There was a variety of things. Her and Janet would start months ahead, organizing the clinics, organizing the quizzes, the tests, the marketing things. And then that days when it come, they're busy, they're all organized, everything would run nice and smooth. But what we didn't know is each night, as the rest of us were putting our feeties up or enjoying the dance or whatever, they're out tiptoeing around the Olds College in the dark, breaking into buildings so that they can put up their classroom stuff for the next day. A few discussions with a few security guards, but everyone certainly did appreciate all the work that they did. So that's a few of the activities that she was involved with. Just to summarize a few of them in no particular order, and I wish it was an auctioneer, but she was a leader in the Rainbow Riders. She was on the Stettler District 4-H Council, she was on the Central Regional Council. She was on the Central Regional Fun Day, the Regional Horse Show, the Regional Horse Committee. She was on the Provincial Leaders Conference Committee. She was on the Provincial Horse Classic Committee. She was a member of PIAC. She was a member of the Standard Bred Project. She was a member of the YHEP. She was a member of PELF, where they organized the workshops for the horse leaders. She then, just a second, in her spare time, she was the director of the Sullivan Lake West Ag Society. She was on the Liberal Church Ladies for like 25 years. Apparently there's only one way of getting off of that one. She was a member of the Buffalo Lake Natural Club. And the Natural Club is not, no, it's the keep your clothes on and watch for birds. Just so you know, It's okay. The superfluity, she's still involved with the Westwood Ag Society and the Castor Rodeo Association. A lot of us get to participate or do fun activities or activities with our children, and that's great. I took mine to Horse Classic, and it's some of their best memories. Lee has been fortunate enough that, and maybe a little crazy, but they go trail riding all the time. And this year, she got to go out trail riding with her kid, her grandkids, and she took along the great grandkids, and they all went for a few days out to the mountains trail riding. So that's the kind of energy that she has that still keeps giving. Every community she's lived in has benefited from her giving, caring nature to make the world a better place. And when she signs on, it's for the long haul. That's evident from the 30+ years she's had with a number of community events. She's still doing catering at the local community center, cleaning up at the cemeteries, working at the local rodeos. When an event needs committed people to make it happen, Lee still remains as the first person to call. To describe Lee would be to say she volunteers from the heart and leads by example. As I started this with Once Upon a Time, you think that I would say everybody lived happily ever after. But this is just one chapter and it continues. But lucky for our community, Lee's volunteering continues so that we will have many more chapters of her dedication to all of our community. And for that reason, I'm very grateful to be a part of this evening as we welcome and congratulate Lee Crothers on her induction into the Alberta 4-H Hall of Fame.
I feel really honored to be here. I'm not sure I deserve to be honored, but thanks to my family's support and the guy who told me at the beginning of my youngest child's 4-H career, well, you can do this, well, you can do this. I couldn't even introduce myself to anyone when I started. So I'm pretty sure I got far more out of 4-H than I ever put into it. With friends like Beth and Dwayne and Janet, I stayed much longer than I thought I would, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. So thank you all for being here and for this honor. Thank you.
Please welcome Lee into the 4-H Hall of Fame. All right, a big congratulations to Sally and Lee, who are now the 91st and 92nd members of the 4-H Alberta Hall of Fame. They join an illustrious group of innovators, mentors, go-getters, and visionaries. But we are not done yet. Would Mark Sayers please come forward to introduce Andy Pittman?
So Sherry, Howie made it extremely clear that I had 2 minutes. So because she scares the hell out of me, I will go with that. And I know Andy's going to forgive me. So it's a great honor and a privilege this afternoon to introduce one of today's new inductees into the 4-H Alberta Hall of Fame, Andy Pittman. I've known Andy for the past 20 years. I've had the privilege of working with him on district, regional, and provincial councils. We've also been facilitators at Club Week, which was always one of Andy's favorite programs, along with the provincial sheep show, which he founded. Andy and I spent countless hours traveling across Alberta while doing 4-H Alberta Council business. He's extremely passionate about the 4-H program and is always putting members first. At council or committee meetings, Andy was never afraid to share his opinion. He was always a team player, never trying to push an agenda. He would listen to all sides of the discussion and make an informed decision based on what he felt was right and what was in the best interest of the members. Founding principle in Andy's life, what was in the best interest of our members. When working with members at programs, Andy's inner kid would always bubble to the surface. He just can't help himself. This characteristic endeared Andy to countless members and their families over the years. When these kids see Andy at an event, they run up to him excited to share what has been happening in their lives and recalling highlights of past shows that Andy was involved in. Family is very important to Andy. His daughters Liz and Sarah went through 4-H program, and his wife Frances has been a key part of the provincial sheep show, as well as being the leader of the Wild and Woolly Club past. Frances has spent countless weekends alone while Andy has been attending meetings across the province. She has always been there to encourage Andy and be a shoulder to lean on. Over the years, she joked that Andy and I spent more weekends together than she did when we were together in provincial council. One of the reasons I stepped away from 4-H was so that Frances could have him back. You're welcome. How's that going for us now? We're still there. Anyway, Andy is a typical volunteer who doesn't know how to say no when asked to do a workshop, shear lambs for a club, or even organize a regional breeding show or regional sheep committee. He does this while he and Frances run their farm together. Andy also works at the Federal Research Station as farm manager, and Frances drives bus and works at Pitcher Butte at the elementary school. Andy always has a time for 4-H and is always willing to make time for kids. He is one of the most dedicated and selfless persons that I know. He is still actively involved in the current 4-H Council and is president of the new 4-H Alberta Council. As I reflect over my experiences with Andy over the years, I can't think of a more deserving person to be inducted into the 4-H Alberta Hall of Fame. He has demonstrated all that is required to be a member and a great ambassador for the 4-H, not only in Alberta, but across the country. He is a true leader and a visionary. He truly is Mr. 4-H. Andy Pittman, my friend.
Well, thanks, Mark. You're going to find that we have a lot of similar themes on what we talked about here. He was hitting on a lot of things that I feel are very important as well. So again, thanks very much to Mark for all the kind words and for nominating me for this honor. I really appreciate the time that you and others took to put this together. It means a lot to me. Mark and I have traveled a lot of roads together in our time, as he mentioned, and in our 4-H travels. And the actual traveling part is often as memorable as anything. It truly reminds us it is the journey that is important, not the destination. Besides, I would have never imagined that this event today might be a destination for me. Never. I think of so many others that are inductees that I have been blessed to have worked with and been mentored by. To quote Scott Adams, you don't have to be a person of influence to be influential. In fact, the most influential people in my life are probably not even aware of the things they taught me. Thank you to those people for imparting your wisdom on me and this community. I want to acknowledge the others being honored today. Three tremendous people. Sally, Lee, and Stacy are all very deserving inductees. And to have Stacy Price being inducted in the same year as me is a very special thing for me as well, because her and I have spent a lot of time together in 4-H over the years. That brings back a ton of good memories. This does make me think about the Provincial Sheep Show Committee, my favorite committee in all my years in 4-H. We spent a lot of time working on a project that we were passionate about, and although there were challenging moments that would occasionally arise, we always seemed to work as a team and find our way through with humor and positivity. I think that's a real key in life's challenges. Be passionate about what you're doing, envelop yourself in an atmosphere of mutual respect, and ensure that humor and positivity are in abundance to get you through the tougher times. Thanks to that special group for those cherished memories. Of course, a real key to the Sheep Show Committee vibes was the amazing families that we were blessed to encounter. There's so many good families out there in 4-H, and one of the things that 4-H is about is family. We all see it firsthand every year. Another place that reminded me about why we volunteer for 4-H was my involvement with Club Week as a facilitator, as Mark had mentioned. I was incredibly fortunate to witness this life-changing event on a number of occasions. To see these amazing senior members come together over a week and through deep discussions and activities, gaining a better understanding of themselves and what was important to them, those members would inevitably come out the other side changed. The only limitations we have in life are the ones we accept. And I could see these members now willing to take on and embrace whatever life was going to present to them and know that the possibilities were without limitations. Thanks to those members for reminding me of this. All the positive relationships I've experienced in my volunteer involvement have repeatedly proven what we can accomplish if we do it together. It reminds me of that favorite Margaret Mead quote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." I often think she must have made that quote with 4-H in mind, as it has always seemed like a perfect description of this community. Thank you to so many people for your friendship and support throughout this journey. I'm sure my wonderful family members, my dear mom and dad, and brothers and sisters, have wondered at times why I spent so much time volunteering with this organization, as they could see the time and occasional stress it took from me. But at the same time, they supported me as they knew I had a passion to be involved, and it was important to me. You see, although we had an awesome upbringing, our family wasn't really aware of or involved in 4-H. So I didn't know what we might have been missing. I was not a 4-H member, but was introduced to it by being asked to be an MC many years ago at the Wild and Woolly 4-H Achievement Day. From that moment on, from what I saw, kids having fun in a positive, happy environment, taking on a whole bunch of responsibilities and helping and supporting each other, I was hooked. Both daughters, Liz and Sarah, became part of that club, with Liz starting at age 9 that fall. They would both definitely attest to the difference it made in their lives, and I'm extremely proud of their involvement and who they have become. We also know how important it is to have support and encouragement in whatever we do in life. And when it comes to support and encouragement, thank heavens I have that person in my life. Someone who has been a dedicated volunteer in her own right, who I fortunately got to volunteer alongside of on more than a few occasions. The key person who put up with me, got me through those occasional struggles, picked me up when needed, and supported me through good times and bad. Thank you to my wife, life partner, and best friend, Francis. And of course, thank you so much to 4-H Alberta for this magnificent day that you put on today. To try to sum this all up, I'm reminded of a quote from Melody Beattie. "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of the past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So I want to express my deepest gratitude and appreciation for the past, for today, and for what we can all accomplish together tomorrow. I'm truly humbled by this honor. Thank you."
You just take that one. You gotta stand there and look pretty.
Sure. Well,
Try.
try.
All right, please welcome Andy into the 4-H Hall of Fame. Our last inductee is Stacy Price. Shelley Smith, please come forward to introduce Stacy.
The last words I just heard from the table were "make the family proud." I don't know about going last. Sorry, Stacy. Those are some epic introductions to follow, so I'm going to try and do my best. Congratulations to everybody. As a 4-H member, I was impacted by all of you, so it's such an honor to be here today. And thank you to 4-H Alberta for all of this. What a beautiful evening. Stacy Price has an energy that can't be missed. She's not a person that you'll easily forget. Her light is very inviting and entertaining. Stacy's quiet confidence in herself keeps her grounded and yet keeps her connected with others. Her humble ways invite others to be themselves, and in doing so, strive to be the best that they can be. It is this trait, among numerous others, that allows Stacy's impact on the 4-H community to be felt from the club level through to the national level. Stacy initially became involved with 4-H Alberta when her oldest daughter joined the Rosebud Sheep Club. The next year, she became an assistant leader and becoming a leader the following year. Stacy was also an active member of the Calgary Region 4-H on Parade Committee for 23 years. During that time, taking on roles as vice president and president. During her years of service with 4-H on Parade, Stacy was able to use her leadership skills to solve issues with a clear head, always approaching situations as they arose with compassion for the people that were involved, yet with an understanding of the rules and why they were in place. The respect Stacy earned from leaders and members made her a natural choice to become the Calgary Region representative on Provincial Council. During her time on Provincial Council, Stacy saw the need for 4-H to change and evolve. Stacy was the president when the council initially underwent the restructuring process that has ultimately led to the new structure of Alberta today, for Alberta 4-H today. I suspect that without her initial tenacity and drive to shift 4-H into the best position possible for future growth, Alberta 4-H would not be where it is today. Stacy has always strived to do what is right, regardless of how challenging that may be. This is a skill that not many leaders have, but all the great ones do. Stacy's passion for 4-H and all that it has to offer has provided her the opportunity to chaperone the Alberta delegation to the National 4-H Citizenship Seminar in Ottawa. Surprisingly, Stacy didn't just chaperone. She also attended as the assistant program director and then as the program director. One might argue that 4-H overall is Stacy's passion, but going back to her own roots, she clearly has a soft spot for sheep. It would have been crazy to start a provincial 4-H sheep show without Stacy on the committee. When Andy Pittman asked her to join in 2013, she jumped at the opportunity to lend her organizational and leadership skills to creating this amazing program. Stacy Price is the perfect inductee to the 4-H Hall of Fame the year that Alberta 4-H evolved. The vision of 4-H matches the vision that Stacy has for every program and committee that she was a part of, from club level to national level. Stacy has left an impact on thousands of 4-H members and leaders through her years of service to 4-H. And even though she's no longer directly involved with 4-H, her legacy and impact continue throughout the program. I'm very excited to help induct Stacy to the Hall of Fame tonight.
Well, first of all, I agree. You know how I'm going to start right away. With Andy, it's an honor to be inducted with my buddy. So thank you, Shelley, for those kind words. I am so honored to be here. And I'm a crier. I'm sorry. For years, I sat at leaders' conferences and watched so many people, some of you here, be inducted into Hall of Fame. And I honestly never believed I would be here. Over the years, I volunteered for 4-H. It was an act of love and a love for the program that I truly believe in. And I am so sorry. So I grew up in Calgary and never participated in 4-H as a kid. However, my cousins, who I'm really close with, were all members of the CBC Dairy Club. So I got to see firsthand what a great program it was. Now, admittedly, I only saw the fun side. I saw the showing, the friendships, and the partying. But I loved it. And it never ceased to amaze me, the friendships that endured. When our oldest was 7 years old, I started preparing her for 4-H. And at age 9, I encouraged her to join the Rosebud Sheep Club. Now, the one rule was if she started, she had to complete the year. Well, it was a natural fit for our family. And before long, our 2 youngest were members as well. And they were peewees before cleavers were a thing. We're all sorts of rule breakers. Now, I grew up in a household where you didn't stand on the sidelines. So it was no surprise that I became club leader and I became district council, key leader, regional council, provincial council, and that. And over the years, I spent a lot of time on the road and leaving my family, especially my husband, home to care for the sheep and the kids, usually in that order. And I can't begin to thank them. Because without them, I would not be here. Now, my 4-H road was not always smooth. Like Andy's, I was a part of a very few popular changes, like the helmet rule. But, you know, we did these things. They tested us, but they showed our commitment to this amazing program. All of us bleed green. Not that disgusting rider's green. 4-H green. And once you get it, you can't stop. I am forever grateful for this program. I have traveled across this province, across Canada, and even into the States, proudly representing Alberta 4-H. I look back over my time with 4-H, and I have so many amazing memories and friendships. I'm exceptionally proud of mine and my family's work at 4-H. Over the years, all of my children stayed through 4-H to completion and all have achieved their platinum awards. My husband, although he grumbled, he spent as much time learning as the rest of us. He became the go-to guy for 4-H on parade decorations. People really love them. And all 3 of my children have continued to volunteer in 4-H, judging sheep, confirmation, and showmanship, public speaking, acting as club leaders, sitting on 4-H committees. As they grew up, I saw the benefits of being in 4-H, their ability to speak, their ability to try new things, and confidence in themselves. Learning to do by doing. And I couldn't be prouder of each of them. They are the reason I gave so much to this program. I want to end by thanking Shelley Smith, Lorraine Parkinson, and Avery Parkinson for nominating me for this honor. I can honestly say that I never expected to be here thanking you for this. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank my girls, Katie and Jennifer, for helping fill in dates for Shelley and complete the application. So thank you so much to my family and my friends who are here to support me tonight. And a huge thank you to Alberta 4-H. You make being part of this program something to be very proud of. So thank you.
Please welcome Stacy into the 4-H Hall of Fame. Andy and Stacy are the 93rd and 94th members of the Alberta 4-H Hall of Fame. Imagine all that power and innovation all gathered together in the basement of this building. It is almost ominous. I want to introduce to you all the Hall of Famers who are here with us today. Please stand as I say your name and stay standing until we finish. We are starting with Dwayne Grover, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1998. Dwayne has often been called Mr. 4-H. He reigns from the East Central region. Tim Church. Inducted in 2012, currently represents East and West Central regions on the 4-H Board of Directors. Sherry Howie. Inducted in 2015 from the Peace region. She planned this event today and has been so excited to have everyone here at the center, which is her new retirement job as she is currently staffed with 4-H Alberta. Mark and Pat Sayers. They were inducted in the Hall of Fame together in 2018 from the South region. Obviously, Mark is still hanging around 4-H and inducting others into the Hall of Fame. He decided to leave his sidekick at home today. Nora Polovic. She was also inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018. Nora is also a current board member for 4-H Alberta. We'd like to give a huge thank you to these outstanding individuals for playing such a large role in helping shape the incredible 4-H program we have today. 4-H Alberta purchased Sherpa blankets for all the 4-H Hall of Famers and have mailed out around 40 blankets to these folks. I want to present the I'm a Hall of Famer blankets to these 6 Hall of Famers as well as our new inductees. If you could please stand, our ambassadors will pass them out to you. Thank you. Now we are ready to serve dinner. Please remember you must wear your masks when you are moving around. We will serve the tables in numerical order. Please don't go up to the buffet until the table ahead is returning to their table, maintaining physical distance between you. We will also start with a 10-minute break just to go to the washroom and have some moment to yourself. And afterwards, we will start with table 1. Thank you.
Dad says, son, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off a shy 10-year-old with the whole club cheering him on. You got this now. With one deep breath, you walk straight to the mic. A a champion is made. You can see in her eyes no fear, no sweat, no doubt. She's got this now. Raising them up and setting them free, helping them find who to be, and going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands, building who I am. He was one of the first leaders those days, giving his time to make a way better place for this club, this town, this land, for you and I. And up on the wall are old club photographs, 4-H lives in a black and white past. Good friends, good food, good times, big laughs. In a century's time, only faces have changed, still learning to love just the same way, and going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands, building who I am, and going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands, my head, heart, health in my hands, building who I am. Grandpa says, girl, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off that 60-year-old. Dad says, Dad says, son, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off that shy 10-year-old. With the whole club cheering him on, you got this now. With one deep breath, she walks straight to the mic. A champion is made, you can see in her eyes. No fear, no sweat, no doubt. She's got this now. Raising them up and setting them free, helping them find who to be, and going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands, building who I am. He was one of the first leaders those days, giving his time to make a way better place for this club, this town, this land, for you and I. And up on the wall are old club photographs, 4-H lives in a black and white past. Good friends, good food, good times, big going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends, I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hand. My head, heart, health in my hand. Building who I am. Grandpa says, girl, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off that 60-year-old. Dad says, Dad says, son, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off a shy 10-year-old. With the whole club cheering him on, you got this now. With one deep breath, she walks straight to the mic. A champion is made, you can see in her eyes. No fear, no sweat, no doubt. She's got this now. Raising them up and setting them free, helping them find who to be. And going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends, I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands. Building who I am. He was one of the first leaders those days, giving his time to make a way better place for this club, this town, this land, for you and I. And up on the wall are old club photographs, 4-H lives in a black and white past. Good friends, good food, good times, and big laughs. In a century's time, only faces have changed, still learning to love just the same way. And going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends, I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands. Building who I am. And going so strong in every small town. Been giving it back for 100 years now. With good friends, I found my home. With your shoulder to mine, we're helping it grow. My head, heart, health in my hands. My head, heart, health in my hands. Building who I am. Grandpa says, girl, hold tight to that rope. Couldn't wipe a smile off at 60.